And thanks for that. Must mean you're in your heart. For those of you that I don't know, I'm Jack Zwissig. For those of you that I do know, it's probably been a long time. Introduce yourself with your name, please, because you don't look the same, and neither do I. The purpose today is to get together and connect and to honor the heroes that built this amazing bridge. And when they did that, they created a connection. The other reason we're together is to have some fun and get together and hug and, have that as an excuse to get together, I guess. So thanks for being here. What we're going to do a little, there's going to be some people that years and years ago at a company called LifeSpring, we used to meet here regularly and do a 6 a.m. inspirational meeting, talk about the bridge and how these people did some amazing stuff. So we're going to do that, and whenever that's over, we do have a couple long-winded people. So whenever that's over, we're going to do a little hug line. We'll demonstrate it here, an old thing we used to do, and you'll just see people, those of you that don't know, it's real simple. Hold up 4 fingers and start hugging. It's not a big deal. So we'll do that, and but this is really a dream come true, something that we thought of many, many years ago, and thanks to some really extraordinary people that some of them are here today, this is happening. So thanks for being here, and later I'll turn it over to Ray. But first of all, if I may, I'd like to tell you a story about one time that we had a 6 a.m. here. And by the way, you might notice that God brought the lights up just at the right time, and God's in on the deal. And so we had a 6 a.m. here, and for some reason I was doing the talk. And in those days, hundreds and hundreds, like 500 people, all the old leadership program people would come to the 6 a.m. And that they would always end with some inspirational thing like, go and roll somebody today. And you can do that. It's still, don't worry, there's always that opportunity. And so anyway, when we finished, this woman came up to me and, of course, like typical thing, I just hugged her without even knowing who she was. And as I hugged her, she started to cry. And as a trainer, I recognized catharsis. And I said, okay, something's going on here. And I said, are you okay? And she said, well, I've been here since 3 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, why? And she said, well, I came to jump. And they closed the sidewalks. So she'd been here since 3 o'clock in the morning, sitting in her car, so that she could wait for the sidewalks to open so she could go jump. Now imagine what life is like when you're that depressed and then 500 people show up in the morning with a music system playing Wake Up Everybody and hugging. So for her it was quite a moment, and I said, are you okay now? And she goes, well, I remember I do make a difference. And by the way, can I do this training you guys did? Oh yeah, no problem. It's our treat. So may that inspire you today. And at the very end of the day, it really is. I trust that you'll go out in your life and take this experience and make a connection with people. So thanks for being here. I want to, Kelly, where are you? Kelly Poulos is going to tell us a story. There you go.
Good morning. Good morning. Wow. It's just so beautiful, isn't it? When we first started doing these mornings at the bridge, the big idea, the abstraction was impossible possible. Because there it was. And at the end of every one of these meetings, we would all say, look, if they can build a Golden Gate Bridge, certainly we can meet our goals. It became funny. But the stories that we related to the most were not the ones about the abstraction. The stories that we came to be inspired by were the stories of the men who actually built the bridge. Because we thought of ourselves that way. We thought of ourselves as the riveters, the connectors. Yes, we had a vision, but we knew that somebody had to get out there on the scaffold, walk to the end, get a rivet, put it in, walk back, get another one, walk to the plank, put it in, come back. And they were the men who, one rivet at a time, made this impossible thing possible. And that's how we thought of ourselves. We thought of ourselves as people, yes, who had a vision, but not only had a vision of how the world could be and how we could relate and connect with one another, but that we were willing to do what it took and take the risk that it took to make that happen. And one that we particularly loved was Rusty. And I'm going to talk about Rusty because Dan Haar remembers Rusty. And when Ray and Jack were putting this together, he wrote me an email and said, "You got to talk about Rusty." I had forgotten about Rusty. And so I want to tell you about Rusty again. And the bridge was started in 1937 during a time when 1 out of every 4 men was unemployed. It was a very, very difficult time. It was the height of the Depression. Even skilled workers like this had trouble getting work. Rusty had a family. He left that morning. He said, "When I come back today, I will have a job." The interview for this job was very simple. The first question was, "Can you work high?" It's kind of a touchy question in San Francisco. He answered, "Yeah." He said, "Sure." And the interview for the job was you walked out on the plank, you got a rivet, it's a 3-mile walk. You came back. If you didn't get vertigo, if you didn't faint, if you didn't fall, you got the job. Well, that's how I think of us and what we do. Is we're the Rusties of the world. A willingness to do whatever it takes, whenever we can, however we can. And then I just want to end by saying to the people here that I knew so long ago, it is really thrilling for me to see you again on a personal note. And the words of the great musical Wicked come to mind. "Because I knew you, I have been changed for good."